Hello. Monday night. I have no idea what day of the month it is, but it's Monday. I know that much. And I know it's Thanksgiving week. So as promised, we have some ornaments to make. We've been talking about this the last week or so, and last week it didn't happen. We got the shop pretty well all flipped over and had a very nice ringing in of the season over the weekend. And so now we're trying to go back and wrap up those things that we didn't have done. I tell you, next year, don't like being behind the gun like this. But here we are. So Monday night, if you don't know who I am, my name is Patty, and I am co-owner with my daughter, Katie, of a vintage, new, repurposed, fun, antique, little bit of everything, really fun little shop here in Granite Falls, Washington. Hi, Miss Diane. Happy Thanksgiving. Hello, Miss Heidi. We are also building an online community of women to just encourage and support to create beautiful homes, to pursue creative dreams, and just to have a network of people you can connect with. And so we're working on that and learning new things, growing and learning. And so in the spirit of that, we are doing these ornaments. We thought it'd be fun. We started doing some workshops, but we can't do as many as we would like this season, just because we kind of got a late start on everything. And so we thought it'd be fun to come on and do some online with you, or to do them live with you here. So tonight I have two different ornaments, but within those two there's a lot of stuff you can do. So this is just an example of one of them we're going to be doing. And these are little trees, as you can kind of tell, little rustic trees. Can anyone tell what the trunk of this tree is? Any guesses? Something we sometimes have in our home, maybe not this long, but it's curious if anybody can identify it. But that's going to be our base. We're building on bases, and we have different bases. Here, I'll show you. Oh, look at you, Heidi. Cinnamon, you're right. So we have some more of these. We also have, these were just, what was this? This was a wood clothes drying rack that was broken. And couldn't salvage it for that, but I looked at that and I said, boy, there's lots of cool old weathered wood in that. And so I cut a bunch of those off. These were just in cross pieces. Ow. I have a hot glue gun plugged in. Here's some more of those. So we're going to start with those. I have some other things too. Get the idea. We're going to do just some different trees here. And then the branches are just fabric scraps. Literally, like these were just remnants that I've had from a million other projects, and I just dug them out. And so what I did is figured out, kind of a little trial and error, but I figured out about the length I needed, so that when I tied that strip around, yes, Miss Diane, Cinnamon, so that when I tied them around, they would be about the length that I wanted. Now for these, we're just tying them off, and we're just making them very simple, not necessarily the traditional tree shape. So they don't need that extra length. They're just gonna, so I just figured out that it was about this wide. So it's just trial and error depending on what your base is. The biggest thing is you want to, what I did is I cut a section and trial and error. And I just wrapped it around it, tied a knot, went, well, no, maybe a little longer than that, or no, maybe a little shorter than that. And tied them, and then cut strips. So you can kind of do this, you can do it one strip at a time if that's how you work best, or you can kind of figure out, okay, this is the size I'm going to need, and I've got 12 of these this size stick, so I'm just going to sit down. And I do stuff like this when I'm, so last week I did a lot of this while I was sitting watching a Hallmark movie, Christmas movie. It's kind of stuff like this, little tedious. I'll take these home with me at night and sit and do stuff like that, cutting strips. And so I prepped a lot of this the other night for these. And then just to show you the top, I used a little heart. Again, I just had that in my stash, but you might have a big button. You might have some little stars. Use your imagination. You could even cut a little fabric star and put it on top as well. And then I just hot glued that on. Now all the branches I just tied on. So I'm going to show you, but I actually think, sitting here looking at this, and I think I matched up the wrong. See, this is what happens no matter how prepared you are. I think you are. And that one I did all solid. I've got another one started here that I'm going to use some alternating. Ooh, broken jewelry. I like that. There's so many fun things you can use to pull things together. So this fabric here is blank on the back side. So you can see it's very distinctive. So you want to make sure that as you're tying them around your thing, that you lay it so that, and it's just a matter of twisting it. I wish I could kind of hold this up so I can show you, but kind of twisting it as you pull that. And I'm not gluing these at all. You could add a drop of glue just to give it a little bit more. So this one, I'm just kind of alternating it. You could do a total kind of like a crazy quilt look, where it's just a whole bunch of different patterns, different fabric textures, just to give it a really unique. Or you can do it all one, but you get the idea. And here's another thing. If you have an old shirt that maybe has a big hole in it or a big rip that you can't wear anymore, but you really liked that shirt, or it's a cute fabric, before you just toss it in the trash or throw it in the rag bin, think about how you can repurpose it. I had this really cute, it was one of my 4th of July short shirts. I wore it a lot in the summer. It was just a cotton, super cute, loved it, super comfortable, and it started falling apart on me. Some of those clothes just don't hold up. But I was like, there's a lot of cute little red fabric with white stars. So I saved that and I cut some strips out of that. For this project, I found that it's not one of the things I loved most about it is it was super soft. And so I cut some strips, but I didn't like the way they didn't really want to kind of come taut and extend like these hold their shape fairly well. So I'm not using that particular fabric for that. But you know, just a tip. Or at the very least, cut those buttons off and save those buttons for projects. But you never know. So the other, I'm not going to finish that one because I have several I want to show you because I did some different. So this one, let me get the, these were little slats. We rescue broken things, and sometimes we can't give the thing itself new life, but we can salvage what's left of it. And this was a little, I'm not sure what it was. It was a little, I think it was some sort of like a magazine rack type thing. But it had all these little slats. And when I salvaged these, in my mind, they were going to be cute little signs or something. You could equally, I was just looking at this earlier, you could equally use these little slats and cut them different lengths and make yourself a little wood tree. But we're going to use them as the trunk of our tree. So for this one, I alternated, hold on, I didn't put a topper on this one. I'm going to stick a topper on there real quick before I show it to you. All right, ow, hot. And hot glue. Okay. So for this one, I alternated again, just tying them up and down. Only on this one, I made them extra long. So then when I came back, so they were all bedraggled, looking like that. But instead, I came back and I went with my scissors to kind of give it a little more of a tree shape. Wider at the bottom, narrower at the top. Again, you could totally, it just depends on your preference. And if you're really fussy about them laying really flat, now this one did pretty well, the type of fabric I used, and I think having it on a wider, flatter base, I think helped it to lay flatter naturally, but the little dots of glue will help with that too. Yeah, I think I'm usually more partial to the kind of free form, you know, very, very rustic and no, what's the word? Perfect's not the word, but I'm just usually, I like that kind of all wonky. Well, it still kind of is, but I like this one too. So again, I think that the flatter, so if you have like little slats of wood, you can even get, they're like the shim pieces or the little skinny trim. You could get some of that at the hardware store and just cut it up if you don't have some of those. So that's on that size. And then just for fun, I just grabbed a bunch of these different stick things. I had these, and this was off of a trellis that broke. So these were, it's just a really skinny little board, and they're really kind of tall. And so for that one, I originally just did it with the single color, but I think I might, So these were just little wood stars that I had, and I just painted, kind of like them a little bit cocked off to the side, tipped. Anyways, I think I might go back and maybe some of these white strips. I'm kind of curious if this one, it's tall and skinny, so I'm not sure if adding strips in is going to make it feel too full. Let's just stick one here, random in the middle. That's too short. Need the longer strips. See, I had all my strips all sorted out. And then, I don't know what happened. Life happened. I have too many projects going. This white fabric that I have isn't as, let me add a couple in, see what you think. But again, just strips of fabric tied around. This is something, you know, you could do with kids, you know, with a little help. They could practice those tying skills. So I just tucked a couple white ones in there. So it's going to make it a little bit fuller. This one, the thing about this one is it's definitely, I originally tried to make this one to be like this one, a little more tree shaped. But I think I'm just going to have to reserve the tree shape for this particular flat. It just didn't work as well. It seems like the skinnier sticks just do better. But I think I might go through and just every so often add a white in there. If you really wanted to be crafty, you could glue some tiny little buttons, like colored buttons, onto random places. Give it little ornaments. Didn't think about that till just now. That would be kind of fun. And then I've got some, this is the one that, this was my original inspiration for this, and I don't know if it's just me and my old lady hands, but my original inspiration was the little cinnamon sticks. And I think because you have to cut it so tiny, and it was really hard to do. Oh, I don't know if I showed you on the first one because I didn't do it on these. So this one here, I don't know that I would classify this as an actual ornament. This one, you know what I would honestly, I think I would do with this one is, I don't know if I have like a sign. So I'm just going to use this for example because I have it here handy. I have a sled that I was going to paint, a wood sled. So I would maybe paint this and then put the tree on it and then make it into a sign, or put it on another sign because they're kind of too long for the tree, I feel like. But they would be cute on a sign or added into a wreath. If you have a big wreath, you could add that into your wreath. And same with these. These are, if you have a really big tree, you could probably put these on there. But I would just add a loop on the back of this. And, you know, you could hang it on a doorknob, which, FYI, husbands usually love that. Those little obstacles they have to mess with, or just on a wall, or but the little guys are great for the trees. So I didn't put a loop on this, but here's where my inspiration started, was the little tiny but these were really hard, and I could not get it I don't know, because it's so little, I couldn't get it to cut so that it had the tree shape. And it's just so tiny. I did about 5 of them. I even tried it with like yarn and jute. So just to show you, because it's not all about the successes, our failures as well. So I really liked how this one came out with the jute. It almost looks woven because it's tied really tight and close, but as you can see when I cut it, I don't know. It's not horrid, but we add a little star. So the little ones, I think you have to work a little harder at. Okay, here's my scraggly green tree. Let's put a star so it doesn't look so bad. But yeah, the little ones were just a lot harder to do. So I had this one, and I thought I had another one here. And then I had this little white one, which just kind of looks like a blob. So those definitely require a little more. They're just, I don't know, they're really short. They're like as long as my index finger. You can see that. So they were harder to work with. But I had these long cinnamon sticks, so that's what I moved to that. And I was like, well, that's kind of fun. This one is just a branch, a broken branch. It's amazing to me how even the ones that I feel like look kind of wonky, how once you get a, see, this one's like, because it's so, lots of glue strings on that one, because this one is so, because the stick, ow, oh, somebody needs to invent a way for hot glue for you to be able to work with it without burning yourself. We had a workshop this last week and we had several casualties. Hot glue is not, I haven't crafted with it in a long time, so I'm very rusty. At one point I had thimbles. I would get out thimbles and put them on my fingertip. So, well, this is not sticking very good, but it's interesting how I kind of like this one just because it's so crooked and you can see it's got a bend in it. This one you could probably get away with putting on the tree, but yes, definitely on wreaths. The larger cinnamon sticks, I feel like I got them at a craft store a long time ago, maybe like Ben Franklin, or I haven't really looked in the like Michael's and Joann and Hobby Lobby. I haven't really looked this year. I had this package of them. I'm 99% sure it was a craft store, but it was a really long time ago. I would think you could. Yeah, I don't have. I had a shoebox full of it. Well, not of different cinnamon. So I don't even have the packaging, but that would be my guess, or even maybe an online craft supply place. This is probably for frame of reference. I don't have a tape measure in front of me, but I'm gonna guess 10 inches, 8 inches maybe. But I would check there. So that's a super easy one. Like I said, if you craft at all, you probably have a lot of this stuff on hand. Again, like this one was a stick, and it was just one that I had. If I had went out and collected, I could have collected some branches that were, you know, it's a great job for the kids. Go burn off some steam. Go find me some sticks. I used to pay my kids dimes and quarters to collect rocks to line my flower beds with. Just saying, gets them out of the house. They're excited because they're earning money. And you don't have to go run around in the wet and cold and collect what you need. So that's that one. Let me grab my little tub here and clear this stuff away. I'll be back, I promise. The other one I had tonight, slide this stuff out of the way. And if you make any of these little scrap trees, I would love to see them. I would love to see, everybody always has such different ideas. And that's what I love about, you know, I get my inspiration from all kinds of places. I'll see something and I'll be like, that is so cute. That is so smart. And you get it and you start working on it. And of course, you know, you try to do something like someone else is doing, and it never seems to go the way you think it's going to go, at least for me anyway. But it's fun to, or just be inspired by that and go, oh, hey, I could do this with it, or I could do that with it. Like the broken jewelry. That's a great idea. So I would love to see if you do any of these and what you do. The other one I have is a fun one that I've had tucked away for a while that I've been wanting to try. And again, it uses some items that you may have around the house. So white glue, you can also use Mod Podge, but just probably not, probably like thicker glue, like craft glue, or at least all-purpose glue. And you're going to want to have like a little dish or something to pour it in, just because it's easier to, I tried just squirting it on and using the brush. So a little dish to put it in. And then you're going to want to have paintbrushes. And the final ingredient, well, it's not the final, but is Epsom salt, which you can buy it's I think it was an 8-pound bag. I think I got it at Target or maybe Walmart. I think I might have got it at Walmart because they have the really big bags there. I think it's like $4 or $5. And I thought, I got 2 because I thought, oh, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to make some, I'm going to need a whole bunch. Let me tell you, a little goes a long way. So the other thing is, so here, let me show you what we're going to do. I did a couple earlier today. So this is like one of those glass or plastic ornaments like we used last week and a half ago for the I Spy ornaments. So we're frosting it to look like snow. So I have some more. You want to take your little topper off, because I found the best way to do this, stick your little finger in there. So what you're going to do is take your paintbrush and you want to put it on fairly thick. You want it to have a nice thick coating so that that Epsom salt has something to grab. Just get it all over the whole thing. I said that like works the best, just stuffing your finger in there. Coat it all up really good. And oh boy, almost lost it. So give it a nice good coating. And I tried rolling it in it, and the thing you gotta be careful is because it's such a smooth surface, the glue really wants to move. So I found just holding it above and just grabbing a handful and kind of sprinkling it, kind of moving your hand back and forth, or you can like gently set it, because sometimes it's kind of hard to keep it balanced on your finger without losing it. And just keep dropping that on there, because it's like the glue grabs it and starts to kind of, the smallest bits kind of start getting, I don't know, sucked into the glue or whatever. There's still like a layer of glue there, so you just want to keep, it starts looking like a snowball, and all the loose stuff will fall back off, so you can't really do it too much. And then the tricky part is figuring out, I guess I should have told you this first. So before you start, think about how you're going to get them to dry. Because you don't want to lay them flat on the surface. I broke 3 of them earlier today doing that. I came up with first so I would set it gently in here. Thought this was pretty tricky. Oh, whoops. I would set it in here very gently with the whole part sticking up, and then I had some pencils here at the shop, so I stuck the pencil down inside and kind of, I don't know if you can see this, picked it up so it was on the pencil. And then first I had a couple short jars that I had a couple resting in, and then I have one of those it's like a funky I don't know how to explain it. I think they call it grass, but it's like, or nest or something. It's those funny things for drying like bottles and things in. And so I found that you could actually stick the pencil down in that. As long as you don't jiggle it around too much, it seems to hold it okay. So while I was doing that, I was like, hey, you could do all kinds of stuff. And so I had these little candle cups, just plain glass candle cups. So I frosted them. So now I have a little set of these. They're not quite 100% set yet. And then I was like, here's another little, it's like a little jelly jar, or one of those little, so that's another one. You can put a little candle down in that. And then I was like, why stop there? And so I did this big one, and my plan with this is to turn, this is like a wide mouth quart. Yes, quart. And I'm planning to turn this one into like a luminary. I'm thinking stick a candle down inside of that. Probably on your porch, covered, unless you came back and sealed this with like a Varathane or something. My guess is it gets a little wet. It's probably gonna dissolve off of there. But I thought with some pretty ribbon tied around it and then light flickering down inside, you could even do a put wire and hang above it, and then you could have hanging luminaries. So I thought that was super fun. So for the jars, I just did the same thing, only I held the jar and just coated the jar. Dump a little more paint in there. And the cool thing about the jar is that it's, I don't know why, maybe it's because I kind of laid it and gently rolled it to get the initial cover on it. And it seemed to do okay. It didn't seem like, again, you still want to be really gentle about it because the glue wants to move. Just, you want to make sure you get it all, you know, thoroughly covered, especially like these ones that have the lettering on there that's raised on the glass. And I did it all the way up to where you would screw the lid on. You could stop at the top there before you get there, or you could just keep going. I'm not putting a lid on it, so I figured might as well just complete it all the way to the top. Is anybody else creating ornaments? Or are we... I hadn't crafted ornaments for a long time. And I just decided this is the year. I had some ideas I'd been saving up and got some new ideas. Or does this inspire you to craft? So I'm going to lay this one in really gently. Just roll it really gently. As well as, this worked better earlier. I'm not sure why. I'm just gonna, feeling like it's trying to move the glue off, so I'm just gonna stand it up. And just keep, just like the ornaments. So I've always thought Epsom salt was just for soaking in hot water to take away your aches and pains. It's all we've ever used it for since I was a kid. And I was looking for it, I don't know, this was a few years ago, and I couldn't find it in a store, and I was horrified to learn that it's a laxative, that people use it as a laxative. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I would use it for a laxative. It works mighty fine for aches and pains though, and pretties. The other thing that's fun to do that I got into this last year is mixing it with essential oils for your bath soaks, but adding essential oils into it, different ones for different combinations, for sometimes just lavender. We got some lavender and put in it, and then with the oil as well. So there you have it. And so I don't, honestly, I would guess 24 hours would be adequate. I would just leave them and let them sit and air dry. I did one more thing. I had a candle. It's kind of a blue. It was a little bit beat up. I frosted it. It's kind of, I've been looking all over the place going, what else can I put this on? I thought it would be pretty even with, you know, when you're crafting other things. Just, oh, thank you for all the love. I love it. So pretty and frosty. I know, I love that it's like putting frosting. I want to frost everything now. And the great thing is, if you go nutso, I mean, you could even take your mirror down. Think how pretty that would be in your bathroom. If you, I mean, if you don't have one of those huge mirrors, but if you had like just a small one, is to take it down and just do it all around the edges, because you could just take it back off at the end of the season. I mean, and to me, the snow part of decorating, that carries me all the way to February. Because it's all wintry and frosty and snowmen and all that. But yeah, I thought it was fun. No ornaments so far. Make them for my coworkers. And you don't have coworkers anymore. Who are you going to make them for now, Diane? Are you going to make them for all your new friends and neighbors? Yeah, I thought the candle was fun. I'm not quite sure. You're putting glue on it. I'm not sure if that makes the outside more flammable. So be careful if it's a candle you plan to burn. This is one I was just going to use as a just kind of embellishment for a candle holder in the shop. So I make no claims to the safety of this. But kind of fun, and it got my gears turning. You know, what else could I glitter up? I've got some other little votive cups, but I thought the ornaments were pretty fun. What I picture on these, because they're just simple and frosty, is just a you could either do just a basic red ribbon, or you could do a like a little buffalo check or a plaid. I would tend to just do something simple, even just like a gold ribbon or something, and maybe even like a little tag that says the year, or I don't know. But you could equally, what about, I'm curious about maybe mixing, I don't know if I'd want to do it with colored, because then you might as well just glitter it, but I wonder about like maybe adding in maybe some like silver glitter into the Epsom salt, so it would be even like more sparkly. That might be a fun idea, just to give it a little more. Oh, buffalo check or plaid. Buffalo check is it's a hot ticket item. Trying to think if I have any it looks a little bit like this little black and white gingham, but it's like bigger. It's kind of everywhere. Or plaid. Plaid would be cute. Just a little ribbon. Okay, I'm gonna get my pencil again. That seems to be my patented technique. I will. Oh, that's so sweet. You stay in touch and still send them. That's awesome. Well, you've worked with some of those people for a lot of years, haven't you? I have Joe's, one of Joe's grandmas, she used to make ornaments for everybody in the family, both sides of the family, every year for every single person. And she would have, like, each year she would pick a new ornament, a new design or type of ornament. And, you know, of course, within that, there was some personalization. But everybody would get, you know, every year we got a box from her with an ornament for each one of us. And so we've got a little collection of all these handmade. One thing I noticed on a couple of my glass ornaments is I'm guessing that there's something on the glass that's resisting. It's kind of what I've seen with paint before. So if you care about it being fairly perfect, I would maybe clean it, wipe it down with alcohol first, just to get that surface really clean. I've managed to just kind of add a little more glue and dab over it, and it just looks like a little minor imperfection because it's like the glue doesn't want to stick. There's a few little spots. But if you're not fussy, I shouldn't say fussy. Everybody has their things that they're particular about. I tend to embrace. I used to let feeling like I couldn't do it perfect hold me back from doing it, and then I discovered, I think that's why I love Rustic stuff so much, is because it's broken, it's uneven, it's mismatched, and just embracing all those little flaws and let it be crooked and jagged and whatever else. And so like I equally admire, like, quilting, the beauty of quilts and all those, you know, perfect lines and beautiful stitch work, and not on my bucket list to tackle, but I will let someone else do that, and I will buy and appreciate their work. So here's another one. 20 years. Wow. That's a long time. Steal another pencil. So tomorrow night, I am going to be here again. Sorry, to get that situated. I'm going to be here again, and I think they're both, to look at what I was going to do. I know one of them is an ornament. The other might be a decor item. But anyways, it'll be something cute for the holidays. And a lot of these, like I said, they're great for putting on the tree or making as a little gift. We are getting ready. This weekend is Shop Small Saturday, and we are putting up another tree in the back. We've got two up front, which currently don't have the ornaments yet. The ones I had ready, I didn't have enough ready to go on the tree, and so and we were down to the wire getting stuff done, so we just left it just the lights. So that's our project this week, is to get ornaments on the front trees. All those ornaments will be for sale. But we're putting up another tree in the back here that we're going to put a few ornaments on. A few of our crafted ornaments, I think. And it's going to be a ornament exchange tree. So anyone can come in. So if you're watching tonight, you get to be the first to really hear about this. So anyone can come in and bring in an ornament. And it doesn't have to be handcrafted, because not everybody does that. It's fun if it is, because then we get to share, you know, talents and pretties in the community. But you can bring an ornament in and take an ornament, and leave an ornament and take an ornament. Thought it'd be kind of a fun, just little community thing. So we're excited about that. Get that up this week. And of course there's Thanksgiving. Hi Christina. Glad you could join us. We're just about wrapping up here, so make sure you check it back out on the replay. We're finishing up. We've been doing these frosted ornaments. So we walk you through how to do all that, and then we did some other fun tree ones. I'll show you real quick. This is just one example of some tree ones we did earlier. Yeah, we're pretty excited about the ornament exchange idea. Hoping that'll be fun. It's a fun thing to do, to get together with friends and do it, but it seems like a lot of times people are just so busy, and even though it's a small connection, I feel like it's a little bit of connection. We were talking about that, and just somebody else, you know, made this or bought this and brought it, and just getting that little exchange thing happening. So kind of building community on a little bit of a different level, but I think it'll be fun. And so tomorrow night we're going to be doing a couple more, and then Wednesday night we won't this week, because I've got pies to make for Turkey Day. Does everyone have plans? I'm curious, are you hosting, or are you going to someone else's house? And if you go to someone else's house, do you have like a signature dish that you bring with you? I have hosted most of my married life, probably at least of the 32 years, I've hosted probably at least 23 to 25. We've sometimes gone for a second meal somewhere else. I go for Thanksgiving, host for Christmas. Nice. This year we're doing something completely different. Last year, my daughter kind of took over hosting, or she hosted last year. And so we went to her house, and she really wanted to do things herself. So I kind of was on an advisory level. This year we're all going to friends, going together to friend's house. And then I was asked to bring a green bean casserole to my son Joe's. Nice. Have you made that a lot? Justin just made one last night. I've made a couple over the years, but it's not a traditional thing at our house. We always have my mama's pumpkin pie, and we usually always she had this shrimp salad that she made, and it was lettuce shredded up and little shrimps, and you mixed mayonnaise and chopped celery and seasoning salt. It's really good. It's one of those that doesn't hold up well for leftovers. I don't think we're having that this year. Oh yeah, pumpkin pies, candied yams, potato, 3-layer jello, sopapilla cake. Oh, I've never had that. That sounds good. And deviled eggs. Of course, you gotta have deviled eggs. Yum. We're just doing the pot. And my mom always made, I call it stuffing, but it's not stuffing because it never goes in the bird. So technically it's dressing. She does it on the side. She always did it on the side. And so I've always done it on the side. And then, so for me, it's just not Thanksgiving. I don't have that along with my turkey. I like my turkey just about any way. But gotta have my stuff, my dressing to go with it. So I'm making that this year, and then we'll be doing the pies. But other than that, we are not hosting at all. No, but he likes them. I like to make sweet potato pies. Sweet potatoes and me. Sweet potatoes and yams. Last night we had a dinner at our church, and my husband was like, "Did you try those little?" They were really cute. They were slices of sweet potatoes or yams, and then they looked like they were glazed, and they had like a little pecan on top. He's like, "Did you try those?" And I'm like, "Mm-mm." And he's like, "Why not?" And I'm like, "I don't like sweet potatoes." It's like, "You don't, but you make them every year." Well, I make them because you all like them. I don't. Not this year. Sorry. Not my favorite. I've tried and tried over the years. And you know, sweet potato fries became a rage for a while. And everybody's like, "Oh, they're so good." It still tastes like sweet potatoes. It's not my thing. My aunt does it like that. Oh, the dressing? Your aunt does the dressing on the side? My mom was always worried that we were going to wind up with food poisoning if we did it in the turkey. And so then it just, you know, it's one of those things that got ingrained in me. I always thought it was cool. The whole idea was cool. Plus, I don't feel like there's enough room to really get enough stuffing for everybody, because we make like this big, huge pan. But, oh yes, looking forward to that whole stuffing, overeating, going into a turkey coma, hanging out with friends, family. This is kind of therapeutic. I don't know if you have been noticing. I've been playing with this tub of Epsom salt. It's kind of therapeutic. I developed arthritis in my hands at an early age, and initially they had me going to this therapist, and they had this thing with I think they were like buckwheat holes or something like that, and warm air, and you would put your hands down in it, and it was really soothing. It felt really good. And so I don't know if that kind of, but anytime I have like a tub of rice, we were doing something with rice the other day, and just sitting. Don't mind me. Anyways, so that's what we did tonight. So I hope you have fun with that. And if you try it, I would love to see how yours come out if you do something different. And again, if you didn't catch the whole live, I would love it if you would go back and watch it. And if you really like it and want to share it with somebody, that's always appreciated. I think any way we can encourage and inspire, I think we all have that creative side in us, and sometimes you just kind of gotta nudge it a little bit to get it out. And so I'm a firm believer of, you know, finding something that inspires you and just do it. Try it. Have fun with it. Don't worry about it being perfect. Don't worry about it being what it's supposed to look like the picture that you saved or whatever. Make it your own. Own it and make it beautiful. Oh, thank you, Christina. Appreciate that. All right, well, hopefully I'll see you all here tomorrow night. Again, I'm going to get this mess cleaned up and got a couple other things to do. And I think I'm going to head home and watch one of my Hallmark movies and maybe prep some stuff for one of, because we're going to be doing some more next week. I got to look at my calendar. I hate to commit to a week and then go, oh, I can't. But we're shooting for doing a whole week of lives. So I'll let you know for sure. But I think that's going to be all next week. It possibly will be the week after. But anyways, we'll still be doing some. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How can we share an idea with you? If it's is it a picture of something or like something you want to, like a description? You can do it here if you want to send us a private message, you know, on Messenger, or you should be able to also just post directly to our page as well. I think it's set up to do that. I might have to double check that. But you can for sure, if it's a picture, if you have it, you know, in digital format, or I don't know. If you're not able to do it, let me know, Diane, and I'll help you figure it out if one of those doesn't work. But you should be able to, because there's like, you can message Rustic Redemption on our page, and so you should be able to do that, like send us a message if you're not wanting to do it where everybody can see it. But if you don't care, you should be able just to share it either right here in the comments. Oh, all right, perfect. You got it. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with me, ladies, and I hope you all have a beautiful evening. And we will hopefully see you tomorrow night. Happy crafting. All right, bye.